Hello, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Ripple calls for recusal of Gensler from Cryptocurrencies. Here's why. Interesting. Seen a little something about this on Twitter, but haven't read the full article yet, so we'll go through this together. I don't know if it's going to be too late for this to affect the Ripple cases. You know, it's already heavily underway, but one thing I will say is, even if it can't affect the Ripple case, here's hoping that it does affect other cryptocurrency cases, because if there's one thing we know for sure, it is Gary Gesnler who's leading the assault here. Gary is the one who's so headstrong on just trying to sue everything into oblivion. I think, is it Hester Pierce, they call the crypto mom, who's also works for the SEC? Like, she's outright gone against Gary Gesnler, saying it's not right what's happening. So you've even got internal conflict in the SEC of people who don't agree with Gary Gensler's methods. So if this can help to avoid him with future crypto cases, that will be great, because it seems like there are level-headed people there. So there will be more fairness, which will avoid all cryptocurrencies going through the same situation that Ripple have gone through. Because, I'm sure everybody here are not just solely XRP holders. You've got other crypto. So we don't want this to be a regular occurrence, right? We don't want this to keep happening. So let's get into the article, and then we could discuss this a little bit further, okay? The legal battle between Ripple Labs and the US Securities and Exchange Commission continues to await a decision after the final briefs were submitted by both parties about a month ago. The latest development in the lawsuit was the intervention of Forbes journalist Dr. Rosalind Layton, who filed a motion to intervene to ask the court for access to the Hinman speech documents. Nevertheless, Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Aldertree, has reportedly pointed out the SEC's misconduct in recent weeks. 2 weeks ago, he wrote that the SEC chairman, Gary Gesnler, is a political liability for failing to establish proper regulation for over 40 million Americans who own cryptocurrencies. Ripple CALO demands Gensler's withdrawal. In his latest tweet, Aldertree draws attention. I'm probably butchering his name, I apologize about that. But not really sure how it's said, but yeah, draws attention to a gross misconduct by Gary Gesnler that may yet be his undoing. The Ripple CLO wrote, quote, "Crypto lawyer PSA. Chair Gensler has again proclaimed that every cryptocurrency except Bitcoin is an unregistered security. He now must recuse himself from voting on any enforcement case that raises that issue, since he has prejudged the outcome. Antonio versus SEC, 8th Circuit, 1989. Aldertree's tweet alludes to an interview by Gensler in the New York Magazine, which he stated that, quote, "everything other than Bitcoin," unquote, is a security. In making this unequivocal and clear statement, however, Gensler may have erred, as Aldertree notes, citing Antonio versus SEC. In that case, the defendant, SEC, barred a stockbroker from employment with a firm for violating federal securities laws. The SEC initiated proceedings to permanently bar the stockbroker from all employment in the securities field. Whoops, having a bit of issues there. Technical difficulties, just 1 second. Okay. However, an SEC commissioner made a monumental mistake, the court later ruled. While the proceeding was pending, the commissioner called the ban permanent. The court found that the commissioner's comments about the permanent ban on the stockbroker's employment while the case was pending showed that the commissioner had prejudged the issue. The commissioner's continued participation in the debarment proceeding violated due process. With his recent statement, Gary Gesnler has thus disqualified himself from participating in any vote on a crypto-related securities case. As Aldertree explains, Gensler must now recuse himself from voting on any enforcement case since he has prejudged the outcome. Okay, so interesting. I mean, the first thing I'm going to say about this is it's the government, right? You know, we've already seen from the lawsuit with Ripple just how brazen and fearless the SEC are. They really don't care about the way they're perceived, I don't think, because, or maybe it's because cryptocurrencies, you know, people who are in the crypto industry may think it's a big industry, but, you know, there's a percentage of people in the world who hold cryptocurrencies, and I'm sure it's like 1% or 2%. So it's really not as adopted as people think. We really are in the early stages of this asset class. So maybe it's a thing where, because this is a crypto related issue, they still feel like they've got the upper hand in the eyes of the public on the broader scale. Maybe. But yeah, they really don't care what they do or what they say. And so they've had no, they've had no legal backlash from what they've done, right? You know, Hinman, for example, we've managed to see during this XRP, Ripple case, that there appears to be corruption with Hinman, you know, liaising with the law firm who are handling the affairs of Ethereum, and then, you know, setting rules and then going back to that law firm. And when he was already told that he shouldn't be able to do that as it's a conflict of interest. So, you know, there's a lot of things that have happened, and, you know, Hinman's faced no kind of, you know, legal issues or, you know, having to go to court to answer for whatever he's done. He's had no kind of, you know, no kind of legal issues from what he's done. And so I do wonder if, even though this has happened, they'll just be able to make some kind of excuse to get out of it. So I am going to say I'm a little bit jaded and a little bit skeptical as to whether this is really going to actually work. I hope it does, because, you know, I think Gary Gesnler is not the right person to be leading charge when it comes to cryptocurrencies, because from what he has done so far, it would look like he wants to destroy cryptocurrencies or severely hold back cryptocurrencies over legacy finance, i.e. banks. So I don't think he's the right person to be leading charge, but I do question whether this is really going to have that kind of impact. But yeah, let's just break down what's actually happened. Basically, Gary Gesnler has said that all cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin are securities. And what he's basically done there is he's prejudged every cryptocurrency in existence before even doing any kind of investigation. So when the SEC are trying to decide if they think a cryptocurrency is a security or not, they would normally do some kind of investigation. They would, you know, be doing research into the company and looking at the circumstances and, you know, different factors to see, do we believe this is a security or not? But with Gary Gesnler now saying, well, every cryptocurrency is a security except Bitcoin, he's already shown his bias, right? So it's basically showing that any kind of cryptocurrency that comes to his desk, he's just going to say, yeah, it's a security. He's not even going to need to see any kind of research or any kind of, you know, circumstances of the company. He's just going to say it's a security because he's clearly said that now. He's said what he believes. And so that just shows you how biased he is against crypto. You know, he's not even willing to listen to the circumstances, which is how the SEC is supposed to act. So again, it just shows you how brazen this guy is. So we'll see if this, you know, is something that really does take effect, like if he really will be recused. I hope he is, But I'll be honest, I'm not really feeling all that confident that it actually will. But what do you guys think? What do you think of Gary Gesnler? Do you think he's doing a good job? Do you think he's doing a bad job? Do you want to see him get recused from crypto cases? And do you think he will? Do you think it's likely? I'm not so positive on that, but time will tell, right? Time will tell. Here's hoping, fingers crossed. But thank you guys for watching. If you did like this, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. Until the next one, take care.